Okay, back to Titus 2. I want to do the last three. First of all, sober means maintaining a balanced life in an obsessive-compulsive world. Secondly, reverent means getting serious about life in an amused world. Thirdly, the temperate is a consistent life in a foolish world. Now let's look at the sound in faith. It says that we should guard a healthy mind in a sick world. Sound means healthy. In faith means that our comprehension of God is healthy. Did you know we live in a sick world? We live in a world that is sin sick. We live in a world that is obsessed with sinful things, and it just comes out in every way, and it's corrupting the way we think. Properly, we live in a world that is redacting history. I remember it was about 20 years ago, the movies started rewriting history. I remember Costner's movie, Dancing with Wolves, was a reconstruction of the American West into his view of looking at things. Then he did Robin Hood. Did you know in Robin Hood, the Muslim was the hero? Did you ever watch I don't suggest it. It's not a great, wholesome movie, but it was a rewriting of history. In the Crusades, in that movie, the Muslim was the moral person that did no wrong, that their God was right, and they prayed all the time, and all the Christians were drunken, wild, orgiastic people. That was a rewriting of history. Both the Muslims and the Crusaders were bad. He shouldn't have rewritten it that the Muslims were good. But we live in a world that's obsessed with not following the truth. How do we have the truth? It says here, we should guard a healthy mind. Soundness in faith. One thing that we should do is, you should not trust someone else to teach you doctrine. Or to tell you what doctrine is, you should find it out for yourself. That's why a consistent reading of the Bible, looking for doctrine and finding it yourself. You should be able to explain yourself why you know you're saved. You should be able to explain from the Bible how you know that God is in three persons. You should be able to show yourself from the Bible how you know Jesus Christ is divine. Those basic doctrines, you should know where to turn in the Bible to prove that the Bible is inspired. The Bible makes self-authenticating claims. You should be able to find it yourself. And so what Titus was to do is he was to take these older men, and he was supposed to say, you need to be sound in the faith. And they looked at him and they said, Titus, what do you mean by that? He says, you need to have your mind guarded and keep it healthy. What are some things that make your mind unhealthy? Well, George Barnett says the average American Christian watches television about this many hours a day. Isn't that amazing? 6? I don't know how. I'm not even home other than when I'm sleeping 6 hours a day. They must watch it in their cars. I don't know how people watch TV so much. But did you know that television is the single most powerful deadening force? You're up here at Barrakel. They don't get good signals, I don't think, with TV, because I noticed they have to have those satellite dishes, so you just can't put your antenna up and get it. But did you know that if you came to this session and immediately after this went to your room and turned on your TV, did you know that you would probably forget 99% of everything you heard within the first few minutes? And that is because television is the great eraser, the great neutralizer. If most people spend as much time praying and reading the Bible as they do watching TV, we would have the millennium now. It would be unbelievable what would happen if Christians actually spent that devotion to God, that they devote themselves to television. Do you know what one of the greatest pumping out of worldliness is? Remember Romans 12 says, be not conformed to the world. The word conform means squashed into the mold. It's like an ice cream cake. You know, you make that circle and you push the ice cream down into it to make it in the shape of the pan. Don't let the world squash you into its shape. Do you know what the biggest squasher is? Media. Television, movies, music. Repetitively listened to slowly shape our minds. And if what you're listening to is sick, if it's contaminated, think about this. How many people do you know that use those little bottles of that smelly stuff that has alcohol in it? And as soon as they get in from somewhere, what do? They go, and they go. Now when you go to amusement parks, they're hanging on the wall. I don't know if you have them here, but down where we live, everywhere you go at amusement parks, they have these pumps of this 99.9% Purell hand cleaner. And everywhere you go. And when you go through the hospital, I visit people in the hospital all the time. On all the walls, everywhere you go, is this germ killer. And you know what I think about? I think about how we're so concerned about killing germs. When we go into O'Hare and they've got these seat covers in the toilets, they're automatically moving. I wonder, I love to run my hand in front of it and watch about 4 of them go by, just wondering about our obsession with germs. We won't use a fork that hasn't been sterilized at 211 degree water, just short of boiling. But we will take the most delicate part of our body and our life, and we'll open it up, our mind, and we'll just let sewerage come through, and just right through our mind. But we will sanitize every spoon that comes near our child. But we'll put them in front of an open conduit of falseness, of evil and wickedness, the television, and we'll just say, be careful what you watch. That's like taking them to the dump and say, be careful what you lick, and let them, just not, there's not a consistency there. And our minds are so delicate. Did you know that your mind and my mind can hold 3 trillion video clips? YouTube style. If you know what YouTube is or whatever, it's a video. It's like a little short movie and viral movies. You can just watch these little short ones. Did you know your mind can hold 3 trillion of them? That's how much capacity this little device in our ivory box here holds. By the time you're 30, you've filled almost all of your clips. And that's why you can't learn stuff as well after you're 30, because up until 30, you can just pull in everything. Everything just comes to you and stays with you. And after 30, you have to work because you have to kind of manipulate and put stuff in the cracks. Let me ask you, those of you approaching 30, what is in all of your video clips? Is it pleasing to the Lord? Is it making your mind healthy?